BierTalk. Gespräche über und beim Bier.
Hello and welcome to another episode of our podcast BierTalk. Today it's a very special episode because we are not in Germany, we are live in Mexico, in the beautiful city of Tampico. And I'm here because of the competition of the Año Rojo, which is a Mexican international beer competition. And I'm sitting here with Jessica Martinez. She is a beer sommelier, a beer consultant, and also brewer. And we have some beers of her, and we are just about to talk a little bit about her idea of beer and how she came into beer. And of course, we will try some of her beers. So, but maybe first, Jessica, introduce yourself to our listeners. So what is you about?
Well, first of all, thank you, Marcus, so much for inviting me to your podcast. So, well, yes, I'm from Mexico City, and I've been into beer, since I have memory. But, like more in professional way, probably like 9-10 years. I tried my first like craft beer or a different beer from macro beers in 2007. So yeah, I was like amazed by the flavors and by all the profile and all you can find in the beer. Besides, I wasn't working with developing my sensory skills. I just said like, wow, what is this? And I want more of this. I want to know what's behind. So I started like a journey, searching and reading what I could. And yes, until I got to the Sommelier Association in Mexico. And they have like a course for training for beer sommelier. So yes, I took the course in 2013. I became a judge by next year, but being a judge is not only to get a certification or a paper, So yeah, that's where I started my judge career too.
Perfect. That sounds wonderful. Maybe first for the listeners, a little bit about the beer scene in Mexico, because many of our listeners are in Germany and maybe they don't know anything about Mexico, maybe beaches and something like that, or maybe sombreros or pyramids.
The Aztecs and Mayans.
But what is it about? How is beer in Mexico and how is it today?
Yeah, well, beer in Mexico, the beer culture in Mexico is basically like macro beers. So people drink a lot of beer, but all we know it's like there is a pale beer and a dark beer, all lagers. And the craft beer movement started like probably like 20 years ago, something like that. But it was so tiny, just like probably 2 breweries. And after the big boom of craft beer movement was about 2015, between 2013 2015, like many craft beer breweries started to popping up and everywhere. By now, like officially registered breweries probably is around 2,000 breweries in the whole country. As you may know, Mexico is a big country, so we have interesting different kind of not tendencies but like trends in all over the country. Like some parts of the country brew like really hoppy beers, and the other part of the country more like coffee, chocolate beers, or herb and spice beers, or lagers. The lager brewing is starting and it's getting stronger every day. So yeah, the craft beer movement in Mexico, it's really growing a lot recently, and after the pandemic even more.
Yeah, that's really impressive, and I have to say I was here now and I was in the competition and I had many beers, so it's a high quality, it's a very high variety of different beers. You have your spices, you have your fruits, but you also do the traditional styles. So that's a very interesting country in terms of beer, and it's 130 million people, so of course it's also huge in population. Maybe one question, I met many female brewers. So is that also something in Mexico which is quite common, that girls also want to go into the brewing business?
It's not that common, actually. I don't exactly remember like the percentage of female brewers or female involved within beer industry, but probably about 28 or 30%. So it's like it's growing, of course. But well, that is for women involved in breweries, like design or sales or beer sommeliers. But for brewing, it's even less, probably, I don't know, 5% or something. But yeah, we are getting more interested in beer, and we have to let people know and let more girls to know that you can do that and you can find a way to do that.
Yeah, so I was really happy to see that, and also how you love beer and show your personal feelings about it, and that's really very also impressive for me. So maybe let's talk about your beer. So when did you start brewing, and what beers do you do? And yeah.
Well, of course, I started with home brewing because I wanted to know, like, yeah, of course, the process to be a better judge. Actually, that was like my goal for brewing, for start brewing. Because yes, once I was judging and I wondered myself, like, how the hell am I going to tell the brewer how to do his job or her job if I don't know well the processes and everything. So yeah, I started doing that. Before becoming a judge, I used to brew, but like not pointing like interest in it. But after that, yes, so it was probably between 2013, 2014. So yeah, I started home brewing, and I was invited to some festivals, beer festivals. So the first time I sold my beer, sold? Yeah. I love it because when people try your beer and like you can see the face of joy and they tell you, oh my god, it's delicious, or it reminds me something I used to drink or whatever. So I said, yes, I like this. And all the creation process and creativity for developing a recipe, it makes me still here, right? So after home brewing, maybe after 1.5 years or probably 2 years, I was working on developing my recipes and like perfectioning my recipes before I became like an official professional brewery and sell my beer in like tap rooms or places for you.
Shops.
Yeah, shops or beer boutiques, whatever. So by 2015, I just created Maltesa, and I just had one beer, which was a wee heavy. I used to brew like many beers, but to be like a professional brewery, I just thought about it, and I told myself, no, I can start with a lot of beers, so just one, and let's see how does it work. Because actually I didn't know how it would be like the business about beer here in Mexico. So I was like, just one, and let's see how does it work. And then maybe I will add another one. But no, and I stayed producing just single beer, we heavy, Morrigan, it's the name. So yeah, that's why I started into brewing.
And that continued until the pandemic came, and then you made a pause, or?
No, actually, I don't own a brewery, so I do contract brewing. And in pandemic, it was really difficult to keep brewing because one batch that I used to sell in probably 1 month, it went like to 3 months. So I was like, no, it doesn't make any sense to keep brewing and with places closed, and no, so didn't make any sense to do that. So I told myself, probably I have to stop and come back after pandemics, or I don't know. And a couple of months or years before, I wanted like to diversify my activities within the beer industry. Because of education, because I realized about the need of beer education here in Mexico, and consultancy about beer processes and sensory training for brewers or something. So I told myself, maybe this is the moment to get focused in all those activities. So I started focus like my job more in consultancy and beer education.
So, and some of these products we have here, which is very interesting. You told me a little bit about it. The name is Avobeer. So
Yes.
I think you will let us know why it's called Avobeer. And also we have 3 of these beers here. And yeah, maybe first you introduce it. What is the idea? And then we can start with one of these 3 nice cans.
Okay, well, this Avobeer is a project from Morrigan. It was like a baby born in pandemic. And that's like one of my projects for consultancy. So I'm in charge for beer production, developing the recipes, and to coordinate all the brewing days and activities related with beer production. And this is a concept in Morelia. Well, Morelia, Michoacán, better say it. Michoacán is like the first state of Mexico exporting avocado and production too. There's a family who have like, I don't know how to say, where there are avocado trees,
like avocado farms or plants.
Farms. Yes, they have like avocado farms, and they do that, all related with avocados. So they produce avocado oil for cooking and avocado cosmetics, like soap or some lotions for your face and everything. So they love beer, and I don't know, once one of them said, why we don't brew a beer, or we have a beer, our own beer, like another avocado product. So they met an beer equipment producer here from Mexico, and he sold equipment. So then they realized they didn't have someone to start production and how to do that. So that's where I came into when I came into that project. And so the idea is basically to have like classical and traditional beer styles using some parts of the avocado tree, not the avocado pulp, but the tree. So what we use in these beers is the avocado pit, avocado leaf, and avocado honey. By now, I haven't try to do something else or the pulp, because of the fat and because it will require many other processes to see if it works. Because what I try to do with these beers is to have all the base beer profile, and that this addition of the avocado element to enhance some of the qualities of beer and the characteristics of the beer. So you will try them.
Very innovative and interesting also, because maybe these are also a little bit byproducts of the normal production, so you even use more of the plant, and that's also something with sustainability, and it's also really an interesting approach to make that, so you really go to new ground with this idea. And which one? We have 3 here: a brown ale, a porter, and a Weissbier. So with which do you want to start?
The Weissbier, of course.
Of course. So will you open it? Shall I?
You, of course.
Okay, so
please.
Now you can hear it's a can. So it's a typical size of 350 milliliters. It's running in my glass, and I give you something also. Okay, so now we have this beautiful white can and this Avobeer written in golden letters on it, and it's a Weissbier, so a little bit I should know the style. Let's see. And it's a beautiful color. It's some like honeyish golden. It's hazy, and we have a beautiful foam on it, so very stable, small bubbles. And
well, I have to say something about the leaves.
Yeah.
Because here in Mexico we used to cook a lot with avocado leaves, but the process of those leaves are like dehydrated, like by the sunlight or in dehydrators. So using the leaves in that way gives you more like some spicy notes or anise or that kind of profile. But how we use the avocado leaves is dry freezed. So it keeps like the freshness of the leaves, and it gives like more fruity, fresh, herbal profile, so it's quite different.
Okay, so very interesting. I never had something cooked with avocado leaves, so yeah, but it's a very interesting smell. So you also have the Weissbier notes in the background, but in the foreground it's green. It's also some herbal citrusy, like essential oils, and a bit like olive also. And of course avocado, but to be honest, I don't know the fruit so well. I like guacamole, and we have sometimes something in Germany with it, but it's not like my daily food.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting, very intense smell.
Yes.
Very nice. What is the professional description of the?
The professional description.
Ah, you're trying to.
We'll do like fruity, fresh, some kind of like orange, like sweet orange, citrusy, and like minty a little bit.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and fresh also.
Yes.
So really interesting. And so cheers.
Cheers.
Very creamy. So here's the Weissbier. Also some banana in the background, and also again this intense aroma of the avocado leaves. So that's really, it's you see the base beer style, but you also have this very intense aroma. I didn't expect that it's so huge in the beer. So very well noticeable. So how many batches did you have to do before you ended up with this almost perfect beer?
Like about 3.
Wow.
But I'm like actually like fine tuning also the profile of the lips, because I want it like to be more subtle. So yes, I'm still working in it.
Yeah, is it able? Are you able to control the intensity of the leaves, or is it just by the amount? Or?
By the amount. Yes, I'm doing it by the amount.
And when do you add them in the process?
Whirlpool.
And the whirlpool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very interesting. So, dear listeners, it may be hard for you to get these beers, but if you come to Mexico, you should definitely look for the Avobeer, and it's really, really a nice idea. And what about your customers? Were they happy with this beer?
Yes, they actually you have different preferences for the customers, but usually they like this beer, especially in warm weather and for starting drinking days with the food or family meetings. Yeah, they like it.
And how do they sell it? Together with avocado things or separate?
No,
or?
separate.
Separate.
Yes, separate.
And it's available in beer stores all over Mexico, or
online we have like home
like a shop, online shop.
Yes, online shop. Yes. And yes, in some beer stores, restaurants, tap rooms, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
You find it in one beer shop or
yes,
tap room.
I found it. Yeah, yeah. I have to tell you, we were talking about that when we met in Mexico City, and I just had it in my background, but I thought, okay, you already told me there is no beer anymore and whatever, and then I went in a beer store in Mexico City, and in one of the shelves in the middle were 5 cans of it.
Oh.
So one of the Weissbier and 2 of the other ones, and so I was maybe it's the right one. I looked a bit closer, and so I bought them, and so we met here again. So that's wonderful that we can taste them together. So yeah, it's really great, fantastic. Thanks. Anything to add in terms of description or from your side?
Well, about food pairing, yeah, it's wonderful, and actually we want to to create an identity. And of course, avocado, we Mexicans are proud of our avocado. So it's like, yes, avocado beer. And we try also to enhance like the idea of pairing the beer with traditional food, Mexican food. So yeah.
So what would be your suggestion to have in?
For example, like traditional dishes, you try carnitas. Right? So it pairs really good with carnitas, which are from Michoacan. Also gazpacho, which is like
Like a soup.
no.
No?
in Michoacán, gazpacho is like a fruit cocktail.
Oh.
So you have like pineapple, oranges, and they added like some special cheese, and you have lemon, and you have like all the citrusy profile and tropical fruits profile. So it works really good.
That really sounds like a very good food pairing.
Yeah.
Because it's not so sweet.
Yep.
Which some Weiss beers are, but this is not, and I think that's a good thing because then the leaves can shine
Yes.
better. And if you have that with the fruit cocktail, you have all these fruity aromas, and so it combines together. And I really can imagine it's a nice thing. Was it the first of the Avobeers you
Yes,
did?
that was the first one.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the next one, if you don't
Yes,
mind.
of course.
So we just cleaning the glasses a little bit, and so now we have a green can and a black can.
Yeah.
In the green can is the brown ale, and in the black one is of course the porter. So I'm curious which one we are tasting as the next one. Oh, the green one. So we go to the
Yes,
brown
the
ale.
brown ale.
Okay, maybe you want to. Or okay, I do that.
You can do the honors.
Okay. So again, cans. Maybe while I'm pouring the beer, we have cans here. So is the can the normal thing in Mexico, or is it also the bottle?
Yes, the most common packaging for beer is, of course, bottles. But recently, many brewers prefer to pack the beer in cans because of the freshness and because it's easier, like to transport beers. And yes, there are many suppliers for, well, not many recently, but yeah, we have a couple of suppliers for cans and for canning machines, and yes.
Maybe it also protects the beer better because you have a lot of sunlight here and,
Yes.
and warm temperature, and that's
Exactly.
not the best thing in bottles. So yeah, and the beers are really fresh out of the can. So I always say in Germany that the can is the best device for a beer,
Yeah, it is.
as long as you drink it out of a glass. Because many people tend to drink it out of the bottle, out of the can, and then it's not good. But if you pour it in a glass, then it's perfect. And
Yeah, but something interesting is that, craft breweries prefer, we prefer like to bottle to get the beer in a can, but most of the people, like macro beer consumers, think they are going to get like the aluminum or flavor or something like that.
Yeah.
So they say, no, it's a can. No, I prefer the bottle. So
yeah, we had that in Germany too, but I think it was something with the cans of the 80s and 90s. At these times, I remember when I was a child, we always had like lemonade in cans, and it always had some metallic
flavor.
thing. So
yeah.
okay, these times maybe something went from the cans into the drink, but nowadays cans are sealed, so I think it's no problem anymore. Yeah, it's also better for sending and for keeping. So yeah. So but now let's talk about the brown ale.
Yeah.
It is definitely a brown ale. So again, wonderful color, nice brownish color, some red hints or orange even, and also very nice foam. So that's really impressive. Small bubbles, very nice tan color. So yeah, fantastic. Looks really like a brown ale, and it's one of my favorite beer styles, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because I like the caramel and nutty character, and also in Great Britain where it comes from, it's the beer to go if you have a nice evening or something like that. So
yeah, and it's
nice.
not really common here in Mexico. Brewers brew brown ale. Like they're not interested in this kind of style.
Oh, you made an interesting thing. Okay, let's have the smell. Oh. So we have the typical elements of a brown ale. So there is caramel, there's toasty, there's some biscuit, there are nutty aromas, also like a little bit like candy. So I think it's typical British candies with toffee in it, and very, very nice smell. And also there's some interesting spiciness, so something which is not normal for a brown ale, which is you take a deep breath, so at the end then it's there and it stays there. It's quite on the end of of your breath. So, yeah, which part of the avocado do we have in this beer?
This one, we use the avocado pit, which is interesting because first, well, working with those kind of ingredients takes like time because you have to like study the ingredient and to work on some testings for finding like the best way to use it and to find like which beer style fits with it, right? So I have like the character for the bias beer, and I said, yeah, the avocado leaves works with it. And for this case, they told me, oh, why don't we brew like the same beer and with avocado? And I said no, because the avocado gives you that nutty peanut profile. So of course it has to go with it because it matches like the profile, and it enhances like the nutty profile of the beer. So yes, we use the avocado pit, milled and dry freeze too, because it has a lot of also fat, and yes, we it's slightly toasted, roasted. Yes, a little bit milled and dry freezed.
And the pit is more or less the core of the avocado fruit, so the inner part or the seed or
the seed. Yes, it's the seed. Yeah.
Okay, because just for the German listeners to know, it's the big thing inside.
Yeah, it's the seed of the avocado. Yeah, exactly. And actually, something interesting is like the avocado leaf in the avocado pit has a lot of nutrients and omega, and it's like it has some kind of benefits. And there are companies who sell like bags or packages with avocado leaves and avocado pit, so people eat it and consume it as a supplement for health benefits.
Very interesting. So it's also healthy in a way if you don't talk about the alcohol. So yeah, let's have a sip. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, also great. Yeah, you have the brown ale, but then you have, I think that is the roasted pit, which brings really more intenseness in it. Also a little bit of bitterness. Also, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a bitterness that doesn't come from the hops, so you can feel it. Exactly.
Yeah, feel it, because also in the end, the hop bitterness is very different in the finish. This is really, but also nice. It's like covering a little bit your mouth, stays quite a long time, but it's also mixing good with the nutty character, which is more than a normal brown ale, maybe because of the roasting.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very creamy, so very nice mouthfeel. Really interesting. And another beer I never tasted before. Of course, because it's really maybe the only beer with avocado in the world. Or did you hear something about that?
Well, I know that there are a couple of beers or breweries who use avocado leaves, but they use it like in the other way, not dried freeze, but dehydrated leaves. But avocado pit? No. Okay.
Great. So what did your customers say when you had the idea and told them, okay, I'm going to put the peat in the beer?
Actually, it has been really hard for people to understand the beer doesn't have avocado pulp. So when the first image that come from to their minds, it's like, oh, avocado beer, oh, it should be green and like so thick, and it will taste like guacamole or something. So it has been really hard. So marketing team has a really hard work for that.
Wow. Yeah. What is your food pairing suggestion with that?
Well, here you can get like some kind of I don't know, probably burgers or some kind of street food. You can try it with mole too. Some kind of adobos, like sauces with dried chilies, can work with it. Some kind of tacos or
Yeah, mole I can really imagine goes very well with it. It's a special salsa sauce which you get here in Mexico, and it has some chocolate in it, and it's can be very spicy, but also a bit sweet, and also the chocolate aroma, and I think that's something which matches very well with this beer. So also another advice for you listeners, if you come to Mexico, you have to try mole and maybe to get this beer. And I don't know if you want to tell about the secret, but when do you put in the pit
Mash.
in mashing?
Yeah.
So at the very beginning of the process.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And with lautering, no problems. It's all easy.
No problem at all. Yeah.
Great. And how big is the brewery there?
It's very small, actually. 3.5 BBLs. But I also, as it is a small brewery, I have to do extra contract brewing too. So at our own brewery, 3.5 BBLs, and for the contract brewing, 15 BBLs.
Okay, so BBL is the American version,
Yes,
that's barrels. And if we talk about hectoliter, it's a bit more, so it's maybe 3 hectoliters, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. 4 hectoliters, and for the second one, I can.
It's not so important. You can look in Wikipedia, and there is a translation between barrels and hectoliters. Just if you have in mind, it's a bit more. So, but it's still a small brewery. So, and now I'm really wanting to have the last one. So we have a black can now before us. Thank you. It's really a great beer.
I'm really happy you're enjoying them.
Yeah. It's so special. So yeah, I have all that what I like in a brown ale, but I have something in addition, and that's a nice thing. So maybe you want to open the last one.
Okay.
So now it's a black can, also with the golden letters on it. It looks really beautiful. Do you also do something with the design?
No,
No.
I'm not in charge of this.
And you pour much better than me. Yeah, we have a wonderful foam again. It's really very stable. Also small bubbles, and now it's quite dark. The beer and the foam, almost brown, dark brown, but also a little bit reddish hint in it, I would say. And maybe where do you get the malt? Also here in Mexico, or
Yes,
is it
Mexico.
imported? Yeah.
Yes, some is imported, some imported, and some it's from here, from Mexico. All the hops and yeast, imported.
Yeah, normally from the US, I think, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Tequila.
Jessica Martinez, which is another thing. We can talk in another series of the podcast. It's a beautiful place, and there are beautiful hops and great breweries too. But now we're talking about this beer. So it looks wonderful. So now I have a smelling. Oh. So there's a lot of chocolate, a lot of licorice, a lot of coffee. Also like malt coffee. And again, some toffee, caramel. Is it a normal porter or a stronger porter?
Baltic.
Baltic porter. So, but it's not a lager? Is it a lager?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh.
Well, I use temperatures lager, but I use American yeast.
So you quite cold fermentation?
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. Yeah, and there's also something like a toka bean inside, so we get some spicy aroma. Yeah, I like it. Did I forget something?
Yes, of course.
Of course. Oh yeah, now
the special ingredient for this beer is avocado honey, avocado blossom honey.
It's the honey. Okay.
Yes. So, as you will know, we have in Mexico like a lot of varieties of honey, and we're big honey producers. Yes, and we have to use avocado blossom honey, and the profile of the avocado blossom honey, its color is really, really, really dark. And it's very complex and intense, and it has like molasses and like burnt caramels. It has a slightly smokiness in it, so it's quite interesting, like the avocado honey. So I used to consume it before brewing with it this beer. So I just say it has to go with the Baltic porter also, because it enhances like all the caramel profile, the sweetness, and the slightly smokiness in it. It's like really interesting. So for these three, like the most like puncher, powerful one, it's the first one. But for the next two beers, like the brown and the porter, I wanted to do it like more subtle and just like to enhance some characteristics of the beer. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that what I thought was like Tokabin. It's and I think over it we have in Germany we have also quite, we say heavy honey, so it's very thick and quite dark and a lot of aroma, and normally it's in the forests. And and now if you say it, I really have this honeyish aroma, but it's really complex. It's not only just sweet or something like that. It's really a lot of aroma. So the honey is produced by the company also, or do you buy it?
No, neither the avocado leaves. No, none of these three ingredients. So we have to get from suppliers.
Okay, so now we have a sip.
Cheers. Cheers.
Very, very creamy again. I really like the mouthfeel. And it starts sweet, and then you get the chocolate, the coffee, and then this special aroma of the honey gets and takes over. And the longer you have it in your mouth, and after drinking, the more you get the honey. And it's really like blossoming. So you can imagine even the waves like if you have a fresh honey, it's in the end of the palate. And then afterwards it comes also the porter again, so it's like playing a little bit with the aroma. And it's very, very well balanced. So it's a really nice, pleasant drink with sweetness, bitterness, and this really interesting honey character. I also didn't have avocado honey before, so maybe I get some at the airport, then I will let you know.
I don't think you can find it at the airport, but next time.
Next time, yes. It's always good to have a next time, yeah. Fantastic. So, and where do you add the honey?
Whirlpool too.
Whirlpool, oh.
Yes.
And how about the fermentation? Is it more boostering the fermentation?
Yes, of course. Yes, you have like about 80-85% of fermentable sugars from honey. So yes, I have to calculate like the recipe for like before adding the honey and the gravity rises because of the honey, of course.
So you brew more or less a light beer, and then you add the porter, the honey, or
kind of, and not so light, but
okay. But yeah. So at the end, how strong is it?
Probably like about 0.8 or 0.9 degrees for alcohol comes from the honey.
Oh, so at the end, what is the alcoholic strength of it?
7.
7. Okay. So impressive. A really self-confident beer with a lot of aroma, a lot of intensity, a lot of really also for me totally new aspects. And I like the play in the mouth, that it's between sweet and honey, and then you have the licorice also, and then it's chocolate again, then honey again, and so it's a nice play with aromas. And what would be your food pairing suggestion with that?
Beef steaks.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you could even marinate them in.
Yes, you can actually make like some kind of to reduce like the beer, and to use it like for I don't know how to say it. Well, for the beef.
For the beef, yes, of course. So it's really
for grill also with mole. It could work mole negro. It could work really, really, really good. What else? Yeah, some kind of enchiladas and octopus.
Octopus. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I can also imagine nice, because it also has some I would not say citrusy, but it goes a little bit in that direction. That's also there.
Like grilled, specifically talking, like grilled octopus with some kind of adobo too, like some kind of dried chili with the spices.
Nice. Great, so fantastic. Maybe last question about these beers. When you gave the beers to your friends or to your family, what did they say?
They have like different preferences, because for example my dad loves the porter, my mom the brown ale, My sister doesn't drink alcohol, but some friends prefer like the first one, like the Weissbier, because it's more like drinkable, like refreshing, and like fruity. They prefer sometimes even more like the Weissbier. But yeah, you can get like different preferences for the beers, and they say like, I didn't know like I can get a beer with the avocado leaves or the pit. They didn't know even people used to eat it. But sometimes, as I said before, it's really complicated to make people understand that it's not the pulp.
And which one sells best from these?
Recently the porter, because it won gold medal in a competition in last March. And here in Mexico City, the porter, it's like the first one for the 3 beers. In Morelia is the Weissbier.
Okay.
Actually, I think people are not so familiar with the brown ale because it's like the last one. But yeah.
Interesting. My favorite would be, I think, the brown ale. I like them all 3, but the brown ale is for me because I like the beer style, and it's really interesting with the pit, and so great. Yeah. And what are your plans for the future? More avocado parts you want to use for something? Or?
Yes. I want to. With the same parts, but trying to use in different kind of beer styles. Actually, now I'm developing like an ultra beer, like low in calories, and a lager beer, and I'm using the avocado leaf for that one.
So I'm curious, and that will be very interesting. And so thank you much for your time and for letting us know about your beers. We will, of course, include the links and things in the show notes so that the listeners can also look for your brewery and your beers and all these things. And I'm looking forward to see you at least next year here in Mexico again. And then we maybe can talk about the next beers of the series or other beers made by your brewery. So thanks a lot and have a nice time today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope people are interested a little bit about these beers. Thank you so much and welcome to Mexico again.
BierTalk, der Podcast rund ums Bier. Alle Folgen unter www.biertalk.de.